second baseman, Luis Montesinos, and our shortstop, Elliot Sear, two seniors. Our center fielder, I kind of wanted the theme would be our strength up the middle. Our catchers are over there catching pitchers, and our center fielder is in class still. So we're stuck with these two guys, middle infield guys. But they've been around for a while. Some of you guys might know them. We're excited about this year, and we have a lot to prove. We lost a lot of guys that were impact guys for us last year, but that doesn't hold us back. We feel like as a team we're that much stronger this year with the experience gained from the guys that were underneath them, and the new guys we have in there. We're pretty solid and getting ready to, for the first time, play somebody else in a different uniform. So, I mean, thanks for having us.
Robbie, how important is it for you guys to get out of the box this season?
That's everything. If you look over the years, we finished strong. A majority of the years, we did have a couple down years there for one reason or another, but you finish strong, you get in conference, you compete, and you feel like you have a team at the end that can go on and get into the NCAAs and regionals and make an impact, and you end up starting out 4-14 like last year. And that's the challenge with every northern school, winning those games early, getting that RPI up there, getting the win total up there to where you're considered at the end. And every year when the season's over, we go to work on how we're going to do it this year. I know for a fact this year this team has worked the hardest ever, conditioning, hitting, defense. We focused on that in the off season in the fall, and teaching the game and moving runners and playing fundamentally sound baseball, because that's what wins early. Late it is about getting clutch hits and stepping up and some things there, but we've been taking care of that business for the most part. But early in the year, it's going to be a team effort. It's going to be team-oriented. Scoring runs, 2-out RBIs is going to be probably our theme this year.
Coach, what were some of the goals you had in the offseason heading into the season? Obviously, you mentioned you lost some good players. What were some of your goals?
I think for one, we have a new strength coach on board, so physically stronger and endurance through the whole season. It's a long season, a lot of travel. People really don't realize what these guys go through, and as a coach you constantly battle rest versus practice and get better. And the Big Ten's a tough conference, so strength conditioning, we revamped the whole thing and really attacked that area. And I see a difference. I saw a difference in the winter individuals when fall ball was over. I saw a difference of energy, and the ball just seemed to be jumping off the bats a little bit more. And so I think that's a big thing. Replacing Karash, Friday night guy. Johnny Walters was our Sunday guy. Mike Franklin had some innings and did well for us. We lost those guys in the starting rotation. But we have guys to fill those slots, and that's the exciting part every year. We have guys that got a lot of experience last year that we anticipate taking that next step this year and becoming the guy that we want them to be. Aaron Novak, J.J. White, J.C. Coben got a lot of at-bats, Alex Farkas. It's time for those guys to step up and fill in with these guys, the seniors, and hopefully have a consistent offense. So consistency was another focus of mine.
In terms of pitching, you guys have a pretty veteran bullpen coming back. A lot of your guys over there last year are coming back. What are your thoughts on some of those bullpen guys turning into starters? Or are you just looking for your recruits to come in and fulfill the starting roles?
Well, I mean, I just was looking at that, and I always leave a couple guys off for one reason or another. I think there's 19 pitchers, but depth is important in pitching. Starting pitching, a lot of times you just focus on 3 starters. Well, to win in a regional, in a Big Ten tournament, you're going to need 4 or 5. And one of the tough things about northern schools is no midweek baseball until whatever the date is, into April probably, right? Whereas southern schools are playing those midweek games and getting those guys those innings. So, these guys don't know, but probably on Tuesday we need to scrimmage. We need to get those pitchers and keep them moving on the right path. But with Walkling, Hill, the Sunday starter was a tough decision. We're going to go with Patton Taylor right now, he had a big start last year, some big innings last year for us, but it was shut down because of an arm issue. We have a new guy, Ryan Harper, that was right there neck and neck, but when you're looking at a weekend series, he's more fitted to come. He's more suited, I guess is the word, to come in and close or throw a couple innings in relief rather than Patton. We have Welsh, who's nursing an injury right now. We're going to bring him along slower. We have Dunn, who's got some starts midweek. So we have about 5 or 6 starters. And even a freshman Hedge from Chicago coming in. He had a really good fall and has pitched good this winter. You know, he's waking us up. But we also realize you're going opening day, first game in your college career, you're going to have opening day jitters and you're going to be nervous. So we're going to try and pick and choose when to throw them into the fire there. But we like those 6 guys. Obviously, Walkling last year closing for us, coming off of arm surgery. He was a guy that we didn't baby him, but we had to keep him in that role for a while. But he's stretched it out and pitched really good. And Steve Hill's done it for a few years now. So we're happy with him on Saturdays. You know, win or lose on Friday, Saturday you're going in feeling pretty good. You know, you can win the series or you can get the series back to even. And then Sunday, if we have that bullpen that we're talking about, feel pretty good about the pitching staff. Now we just play defense and push those runs across when we get an opportunity to.
And then Luis, in terms of the defense, you guys have obviously a veteran middle infield, and then you have 2 veteran outfielders coming back. What are your thoughts on the defense this year?
Well, I mean, we have, like you said, we have a few new guys that are going to have to step in and do well this season. As far as these veterans coming back, I think we've proven ourselves. We still need to do better than we did prior seasons. But now JJ coming in, like he's gonna be starting on the field, and then Paradise over at third, and then they have Coates and Al fighting for another spot out there in the outfield. So we'll see. It's whoever steps up during the season is gonna play the most. So.
Coach, you had a lot of freshmen play last year. How's their development in the offseason now coming into this year? You're going to get significant time.
That's the deal. You have Stranka, Deegan, DiBenardis, Karash, Walter. Those guys are sucking up those innings, and you have guys pushing them. I mean, there was probably times last year where I just wanted to push those guys and say it's yours, but you have those guys in front of you. So they led the way, making it possible to put a JJ in there and a JJ White and a Novak. They got quite a few at-bats last year and some experience, and we liked what we saw, and expect a lot more from them. That expectation is always there. You expect those sophomores to step in and play and compete and at a high level. I mean, that's what you're recruiting for. Now everybody kind of levels off at some point, but through the fall and through the winter and what we've seen this spring, if this is spring right now, I'm not real sure if this is spring yet, but we're happy with where we're at. And the freshmen have been nothing but impressive. You know, like I said, first time we scrimmaged Temple this fall. It was different. There were guys that showed a different personality, but it's normal. You know, it's normal. Find out a lot this weekend, and hopefully find out more the next week, and get these things ironed out so we don't get off to that rocky start. You know, I'm tired of that. There's no excuse for it. You switch that around to 14-4, and we're in an NCAA, and we played. All our teams last year were tournament teams, and it's hard to say if Eastern Tennessee State's going to be in there, but they're picked at the top of their leagues. Houston's going to be in there. That's an RPI school. Houston Baptist, we should go down there and win, but it's going to be those southern schools will pick up some RPI points for us. It's important to go down there and win those games, and we're going to figure out how to do it, and it's fundamentals. That pitcher that can throw 4 pitches for strikes early in the year and change-ups give hitters fits this time of year. It's the same thing with fundamentals. Get the sack bunts down, move a runner, get a runner in. You're going to win those games early. Last year, we struck out too much. Runner at third, nobody out, and we wouldn't score. You know, strike out, pop out, and a ground out. The sack fly always came with two outs. Think of it that way. And this year it's not going to happen, right?
Definitely.
I was gonna ask you, like, what are the challenges as a player getting out of the box quickly and having not seen a lot of, maybe just a lot of pitching anyway?
I think part of my problem sometimes is, thinking ahead too much. And with this game plan that Coach Lyon has implemented and the rest of the coaching staff, I think everybody goes up there with the same idea, which relaxes us in a sense. And the idea that I'm talking about is like the small ball game and pushing runners. We can't wait around for Stranka and Deegan and Debo to save the day anymore. So we've got some good athletes. We're going to move runners, get guys on, move them over, steal bags. Coates has been like real impressive this off season. He fits that game plan well. Stevie Snyder, Luis, and I, get on for those big guys. Farkas and Colbert are going to have their fair share of home runs, but they're right there with us in this game plan too. So that's huge to have 1 through 9, on the same page.
Luis, what's made you guys so good at home? That's quite a hard record that you guys put up last year.
Well, I feel like once we get home, we kind of play our game, like the small ball game. When we go away, fields are a little bit smaller. I see guys trying to go for the fence. And I feel like when we get back home with such a big yard, we get back to our game and stick to our game plan, and we obviously do pretty well.
Coach, you kind of joked before whether or not it's spring or not, and I think you guys have been practicing this side mostly. What exactly do you notice at the beginning of the year that you guys are kind of slow on it, you haven't developed yet, not being outside?
Fly balls for one. That's a give and shoot. The guys this year have done a good job for the first time this year of when a ball hits a rafters, they still run. So when a ball goes up, you're worried if the guy's going to run or not because it's an out. We call it, that's an out. Well, we make the guys run out just out of habit, get out of the box and go. And, when you hit a ball right into the rafters, the tendency is to stop and go back and next hitter. The lighting in there isn't as good. So whether it's good or not, you go outside and it's sunny out, boy, that ball looks big in there and it's wide open. Just a little cabin fever. I go back to my spring training days. It was hard when you're out on the field all of a sudden, your sun, wind, it's just, you're so wide open. The feeling is, in cages and in Halubi, you get that tunnel vision. So getting spread out and thinking too much, and games mean something too. It's not that practice setting where it's like a controlled scrimmage where we go up and tell a guy, shoot this fall. I made Elliott hit with 2 strikes. Tell him to take. So it's not a true evaluation of what his batting average might be or whatever, but hopefully it helped him realize, he can hit with 2 strikes. I don't know if we did anything with you, but we made a Walkling pitch without his slider. All those things you try and develop and keep guys moving in the right direction through all this. So it is, it's constantly juggling, but getting outside, there's nothing that can simulate that. I even went to the point of maybe thinking about painting palm trees on the walls in the batting cages that just make it look more like it's that soft focus thing when you're hitting, just the feel of being outside. There might be something to that if somebody wants to come up with that, just hanging nets that make it look like you're down south in spring training. But I guess my biggest battle is keeping things upbeat, moving, productive, because it gets boring in there. Going in Haluba at 8 o'clock at night is boring. It's not fun, and we're ready to get on the road. But this group here has worked hard. They worked hard. Practices have been upbeat, moving all the time. And last night we bunted for 30, 40 minutes to end the practice, and it was a really good drill. Defense, offense, just everything. We'll do some different things tonight, but the work ethic, the combination of strength, conditioning, and that energy in that is translating on the field and in practices, and hopefully it translates into the season.
Elliot, talk about the importance of this tough out-of-conference schedule to start the season, how these games kind of get ready for you to come home, and then in the future play in the Big Ten.
I think it's a good challenge for us. Obviously, there's no I don't want to disrespect those schools, but there's no Mississippi States or Texas, Texas A&M. There's none of those guys on the schedule, but those ball clubs down south, you run into some of those smaller schools. It's different than the smaller schools up here. They can play, and So it's a good test for us to go down to their place with their fans and things like that, where we're gonna be hearing it from them, and that's part of the game. So I think it's a good test for us, obviously on the field, but mentally as well. And then you come back up north, and I think like Luis and Coach would agree, when you come back up, to play these schools in the Big Ten after playing a school like Texas A&M or Houston, you have a little bit of confidence, and you feel like you can do well up here. So that's the way I feel about it. And like I said, it's just a good test, and it does prepare us well for the Big Ten, which is a good conference.
And then, Coach, in terms of your strengths this season, you have two solid catchers, both very capable of starting. What are your thoughts on how you're going to utilize both of them? Are you going to try and keep them fresh and rotate them in, or are you going to try and focus on one starter? How do you think you're going to use both of them?
And that, you're dealing with a pitching coach that sees some things that maybe as a head coach looking at the whole team doesn't see. So Coach Bell has a feel of who works with who best, and I don't know if you remember the Steve Carlton, Tim McCarver. There's probably some other guys nowadays, that battery mate type thing, and we might develop into something like that. Coben's more offensive. It's not saying he's a bad defensive guy, but Farkas is more a defensive guy, throws a little better, and Coben probably has the edge on hitting. So offense, defense, matchup, Steve Hill and Walkling. Walkling's kind of a no-nonsense, put the finger down and I'm going. He's just going to go. And Steve Hill pitches, and it's like Nintendo game with him. Fastball in, slider away, fastball away, finish him with a changeup. That's the way Steve Hill and Coben might be more suited for something like that. Then we'll just wait and see on that. But I'm not, I think I've decided on who's going to pitch. I'm going to talk to Coach Bell. I think we're on the same page on that opening day. But then after that, we'll see who's hot. And it's like that across the board. I think everybody understands if you're not getting it done, there's a guy right behind you that can go in and do as well or better. So it's going to be a constant battle. And that's where we're deep this year, all the way across the board. We're deep. And I think everybody knows the team concept. I think everybody understands it's going to take 35 of us to win this thing. Some of the preseason rankings don't mean a thing to us because we know, especially these guys, they've seen the league. They know what's going on, and they know that we'll just step in, and if we do our job, don't beat ourselves, we're going to put some wins up.
And then, Luis, Coach mentioned, it's a little repetitive going in Haluba over and over again. How excited are you for the season to start, to get outside and start playing for real?
Yeah, I can't wait to get, like you said, Haluba is just really dull. Getting outside would be awesome. We actually, a couple days ago, we got to go outside and take some pop flies because the weather was pretty nice, so that was nice. But it's a big deal. We usually the first time we go outside is on a regular field down in Florida, and it's been tough catching our balls. But this year, our first test outside is on a turf field, so it'd be nice to get outside, have a few good games and start off the season right.
Coach, you redshirted a couple guys last year. What are you seeing from them as far as development goes?
Who was that? Ricky
Guys like
Smith.
Don Moyer and
Dunmore's still nursing. He went out and pitched this summer, hurt his arm, and he's still coming back. He's going to be fine, but it's just been a long process. So we anticipated him to shoot for a starting job. We wanted that left-hander in there, and he had a setback, but he'll be back. He's fine. He's going to be fine. Ricky Smith, it benefited him. He hurt his arm last year. I think right about the deadline, the border of redshirt or not, we got him back, and he's right there at the middle of things at third base. And I noticed over the years in the Big Ten, some of the programs, and I go back to Minnesota, they were last, and next year first, and they redshirted a bunch of guys. And I'm not so sure a lot of the programs been doing that, but it's just we have a couple guys this year that I don't anticipate them getting significant amount of playing time, innings pitched or at bats. It's just smarter to let them get a year under their belt, grow a little bit, get strong, and then come out their redshirt freshman year ready to take a job. So it does help with certain situations.
Elliot, how encouraged were you guys with the way you did finish last season?
That was a really special run. It was something cool to be a part of. I think that I wish some of the freshmen would be around to see that, because I think it's like we talked about it before. It's like a recurring theme that we get off to that shaky start and then explode at the end, and we just need to figure out how to get it going at the beginning. And I think I'm confident that we've done that this year. As Coach said, we've really worked the hardest that I've ever seen a ball club work here, and but the older guys, we'll bring them along. Obviously you're gonna can't win them all, but we expect to go out and win every game at the same time. So we'll bring those guys along, and if they hit a rough patch or whatever, we'll push them through it. We'll be all right. We have everybody has each other's back. This is a really close team.
I think part of that is that early season baseball for northern schools. We don't play Tuesday and Wednesday. We went on that roll, and I don't know if I'm speaking for you guys, but we went on a row, and it was like 2-3 weeks in, and I don't know what our record was, but it just kind of, baseball, it sneaks up on you. And all of a sudden you have reporters coming in, do you know that you're 18-2 at home in the last 20 games? No, I don't know that. How's that? And in baseball, that kind of catches up to you, and then the media catches up, and then all of a sudden it's a thing. Shoot, we're doing pretty good. And it shouldn't affect you. And I guess, I don't know, I go on the opposite end. I don't read newspapers. I don't get on the internet. And these guys do. They know what's going on. But that kind of thing does sneak up on me. I don't even realize because it is one day at a time. It's a grind. And here you are playing 5 games a week. Mondays are off, which is not really an off day for the coaches. But these guys, they might get a lift in, or they might get a little conditioning in or something. But it's really, once you get going, it's Tuesday play, Wednesday play, Thursday travel, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and just sneaks up on you. But early, there's a lot of time to think. And thinking in baseball is bad to a point. And playing at home, back to that, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like sleeping in your own bed, having your pregame meal, and having that routine that you're used to. But I don't know how many home games we had last year, 23, maybe, out of 56. Wish we could play more.
As far as the Big Ten goes, what are you seeing across the board?
It's going to be a tough conference. People are talking about who we lost and who Purdue lost. Well, don't be surprised if Penn State and Purdue are battling it out. What Indiana had, sophomores, it's a tough league. Nebraska's going to step it up. They know what the league's about. Ohio State's going to be there. Michigan's got a new coach. I don't know what they have. Their cupboard was kind of dry, but who knows? Maybe there's a couple injuries, red shirts. I mean, it's a battle, and you don't beat yourself. You do not beat yourself in this whole thing, and you have chances to win games, and that's what the Big Ten's all about. Now, the Big Ten as a conference needs to get out there and win some games early. So when we get into conference, we have some RPIs that work. And that'll help us in NCAAs.
Thank you.
Cutting this short. That was a wasted coffee.